Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello and welcome back to Crime and Sports.
We are.
I'm James Pietragallo here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmy Whisman.
Jimmy Whisman, like the man said. And this week we are covering Mr. Chad Curtis.
Yes.
Now, if you don't know who Chad Curtis is, if you're not a big baseball fan, he did play in the league for like 9 seasons. He won 2 titles with the Yankees at the end of the 90s.
World Series rings.
2 World Series rings. So Chad Curtis he didn't play for like 3 days in the majors. He was a solid major leaguer.
9-year career.
9-year career. Before we get started, just want to let everybody know, please follow us, subscribe on iTunes, and please, if you've already done that, please give us a review and say something about us. I think it helps us with moving up ranks or something.
I hate when people at restaurants or whatever, when they tell you to review them on Yelp or whatever it is that they want you to give us 5 stars. Give us 5. I don't give a fuck what your review is. Just review it.
Yeah.
Love to have a review. Obviously, 5 stars would be fantastic.
And we spent way more time on this than a waiter spends bringing you a quesadilla. You have no idea.
I'm not asking
how
you for money. I don't care about your 15%.
You have no idea how knee deep I am in a mediocre major leaguer diddling some teenagers. It is just absolutely remarkable. So please do that. Also, get a hold of us if you want to email us any questions if you want requests for upcoming scumbags for us to cover. It's crimeinsports@gmail.com.
I love it.
Twitter's @crimeinsports. Facebook page, please like that. So let's get into this. Okay.
Facebook.com/crimeinsports.
Yeah, that too. All right. So, Chad Curtis. Let's get started here. Chad Curtis, he was born in Indiana. I guess he went to high school down by Tucson, Arizona.
Yes.
In a
Shithole. Border town.
Just a godless,
horrible place.
Strip of dirt.
I'll bet there's a ton of God down there.
There's a lot of God, actually, as we get into with Chad Curtis, because God is really a big part of this thing for him, and really what makes him interesting is the God part.
God's country.
Went to college at Grand Canyon University, which is a Christian university.
Yeah.
It's up in, Payson, northern Arizona
There's
somewhere.
a few here now, aren't there?
Phoenix, yeah, there's a couple, but the main campus is up north somewhere, and I don't know, they have weird rituals.
Dan Marley's a basketball coach now.
It's a strange thing,
It's very weird.
It's a weird Christian thing.
But it's the #1 college in Arizona for sports now.
In Arizona for sports?
I believe so.
Well, that says a lot about ASU.
Yeah.
Get your shit together, ASU. The fucking Christian kids are beating you now. This is not good. He was drafted by the then California Angels, Anaheim now, in the 45th round of the '89 draft.
They gotta stop.
That's
so
deep.
Many rounds.
That's when you're literally like, I think we should get a guy with brown hair. That's literally at that stage.
You got any guys interested in kids? Because that's what they found. That's exactly what they found.
That's like around when Piazza was drafted, which I think was like the 61st round. Jesus. The famous story is, Sordid did it as a favor because he knew his dad. Literally, he was like, I know his dad. He's a nice guy. He's a good kid. We'll draft him. We'll
throw him a bone.
The Hall of Famer now. But anyway, so he's drafted in the 1989 draft. Only in the minors for a couple years, actually. Came up the beginning of the season, the 8th of April 1992, made his major league debut, and that's probably opening day.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's on the opening day roster, so they had a kid. So I mean, really promising. He played all 3 outfield positions his rookie year.
Yeah.
Continued to do that throughout his entire career. He played all over the place too. He was this is going to come up a lot too. He played first for Detroit, or first for the Angels. He got traded to Detroit in '95 for Tony Phillips, which, I mean, he's at the, you know where you're standing at that point. If they're trading you head up for Tony Phillips. He plays there for a while. Actually had his best season in '95. Had a .268 average,
Yeah.
21 homers, 67 RBI, and that's his best season.
What was his average for his career, though? Wasn't it
Career
like
264.
That's not bad.
264, 101 home runs.
Not bad at
which,
all.
I mean, it's okay.
So
I mean,
his best season was a little bit above his average.
yeah, 784 OPS that
He
year.
did
so,
all right.
yeah.
He did okay. Decent. I mean, that's a mediocre career. That's
He's
something
a-
that you can be proud of. You can hang your hat on that.
He's a mid-level platoon
Sure.
kind of. He
Yeah.
can play right. He can play left.
Right.
You can throw him in center if you're desperate, and it's either that or somebody who has a broken leg or
Yeah.
something of that nature.
Salary cap's got you affected, and you need somebody to play all positions in the outfield. That's your guy.
Absolutely. So then he ends up going to the Dodgers. He's traded from Detroit to the Dodgers. Notice all the trading, voluntary. We don't want this guy anymore.
This guy can go. This guy
Okay.
can go.
And we're going to
Head
get to
up.
why. 97, he's a free agent. He's signed by Cleveland, who signs him as a free agent and then trades him in June.
Jesus,
They had
that's
this man
fast.
for like 3 months,
That's
and
so
they were like,
fast.
get
They
him.
got him through spring training and got him the fuck out.
Yeah, they could not tolerate him anymore. So they send him to the Yankees.
And where was he at then?
He was in Detroit at that point.
Detroit plays in
No,
Florida.
straight,
yes?
Cleveland. I'm
Cleveland.
sorry.
Cleveland plays here. So they got him into
Cleveland.
the Arizona desert, back home where he went to high school, and they dealt with him for 3 months here and shipped him the fuck out.
So get him out of here. Send him to the Yankees.
Somewhere
Now,
where he should be comfortable is in Arizona.
I'm a Yankee fan, and I was paying attention a lot to the team at this point in time. And Chad Curtis, like I said, he's a good fill-in guy. You'd be like, okay, Curtis is playing today. He didn't play every day, but, that sort of thing. He was pretty good. He actually hit a giant home run, the game-winning home run in the
Walk-off.
Game 3
Yeah.
of the '99 World Series against the Braves. And he did a thing that I really thought was cool at the time, too. I'm like, I love this Chad Curtis guy. Obviously, didn't know a lot about him. I love this
Never
Chad-
had a beer with him.
Exactly. Jim Gray tried to interview him, and at that time, Jim Gray had taken just some really unnecessary shots at Pete Rose and really, really went after him and just his character and just tore Pete Rose to shreds. And Curtis came out to do the post-game interview and looked right at Jim Gray and said, I'm sorry, but all of us have decided that since what you said about Pete, none of us are going to talk to you, so have a good night. And he walked away and left Jim Gray standing there with the microphone at the time that resembled a dick. He had the expression if someone dropped a dick in his hand, and he was stuck with it in the middle of the field on national television.
The only thing to
Smooth
get
move.
him back would have been Jim Gray saying, I got a teenage daughter.
That might have helped. Okay, so Chad Curtis, let's get into his character. Chad Curtis is a rip-roaring evangelical Christian. I mean,
Huge fan of those.
it defines everything that he did. He was traded, when the Yankees traded him to Texas after the '99 season, in the offseason, a Yankees official, unnamed, said it was because we just couldn't take him anymore. They said we grew tired of him. They said, quote, his act grew tired. He said once he got comfortable, all he did was preach.
A crew of people that, thank God, after every great play, couldn't deal with this man.
Couldn't tell. Well, Chuck Knobloch, the Yankee second baseman at the time, you might remember him having the yips throwing, and he
God,
couldn't
it was
throw.
fantastic.
He was great,
Yeah.
and then he couldn't throw to first base, and it was a mess. He had the Steve Sachs disease. So Chuck Knobloch was partying a lot,
Right.
and they said, "Hey, Chad, you're a nice Christian guy. Keep an eye on Chuck for us. Make sure he doesn't, just go off the
Have him
deep
toe
end."
the line, would you?
So lunatic Chad Curtis is like banging on his hotel room
He
door
takes
at
that
3
as
o'clock
free
in the
range
morning.
to start reading Bible
It
verses.
is unreal. Jimmy's about to open a beer. Let's hear that. Okay.
Yes,
excellent.
sir.
All right. So it is. He's doing that. Chuck Knobloch's like, what the hell's going on with this crazy guy? Then he's trying to preach to Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter's like a hugely famous
Yeah.
guy. He's having sex with Miss
Everyone,
Universe.
yes.
And anything else that falls into his, web as he's walking
He's a
around.
playboy of New York at this point.
Panties just, they fall from buildings on him. He doesn't even know where they're coming
They're
from.
flying from the upper deck as he's up to bat.
He's wealthy, he's famous, he's having a good time, he lives in New York City, and this guy's going, hey man, listen, you need to get with Jesus. And Derek Jeter told him, you need to get fucked. I don't think so.
Is that the name of Miss Universe? I can't wait to meet her.
And at the time, I think if you're pissing Jeter off and you're a mediocre fucking platoon left fielder, you're getting shit canned at that point.
Have you fucked Miss Universe? Because you will see Jesus as well.
This guy in every locker room, Rice Clayton was interviewed about him recently, and Rice Clayton, they said, are you surprised? He goes, nah, man. He's like, that Christian shit. He's like, man, people say any old bullshit to do what they want to do. He almost got in a fist fight with Rice Clayton over the Thong Song.
He can't take Cisco. That's
not
fantastic.
Fucking cop killer, Ice-T cop killer.
Right.
Not that.
Right, it's not "Fuck the Police" by NWA.
It was Cisco.
It's a black man with blonde dyed hair singing about women's thongs.
It's a gender ambiguous midget singing about thongs, and this guy freaked out.
He couldn't take it.
He couldn't take it. Shut it off in the clubhouse. Royce Clayton turned it back on. Chad Curtis shut it back off.
It's giving me a boner. Turn it off.
Turn it off. I'm thinking about thongs. So then they almost came to blows over this. I mean, this is the level of, and he would, I guess, players would stash porn in the clubhouse a lot in the bathrooms, and he would find it.
Does he not know that a clubhouse in baseball is like a garage? In anywhere you get your oil change, there are Snap-on calendars with titties everywhere.
They're walking around with their cocks out.
It's multiply that by 30, and you might have an MLB locker room.
So he actually would go in and find the porn and throw it out. You're hiding it from your mother because you got this flat-topped asshole running around.
Unbelievable. You got Derek Jeter trying to scrub the last 10 girls off his cock in the shower.
Unbelievable.
And this guy's freaking out about the thong
This guy's losing about the thong song. So basically, nobody liked him. They talked to Gabe Kapler after this whole thing happened, and Kapler and him were actually. Kapler said he was interested in him because he was so set in his ways that like Kapler would like to like go up to him and be like, "So Chad, tell me why I shouldn't cuss." Just to debate with him and
just
see
to goad him into a conversation.
Goad him into hearing his thought process, and like he would try to. And Kapler's Jewish too, and he would try to tell him that he needs to find Jesus, and he's like, "Bro,
listen,
I'm Jewish, all right? Like,
we were
barking
Jesus.
up the wrong tree, guy. Yeah, barking up the wrong tree."
We're the chosen ones, sir.
Him and Kapler actually were on Real Sports at the time. Like a steroid scandal really was starting to heat up, and this was I think 2000. It was like Chad's last year. And he said, and they were the only two players that, it was a performance-enhancing drug story, and they were the only two players that took an on-the-spot steroid test.
Oh, nice.
And passed and everything.
All
so,
right.
I mean, Chad Curtis had with people, you look at him, you go, upstanding guy.
Right.
Teammates, everybody ever knew was like, that guy's
Fuck
an
that
asshole.
guy. Yeah.
Fuck that guy. He is a fucking lunatic. But yeah, I like that. He'd say, "Why should I remove fuck from my vernacular?" was a quote from him, and I'm like, that is fucking wonderful. I love that a lot. Royce Clayton hated him. So anyway, his career comes to an end, I guess, after 2000. Gee, nobody wanted this
weird
preaching, fading physical skills platoon left fielder turning off songs. Insane. So anyway, baseball's over for him. And this is when he gets into teaching. Okay, which is you'd figure a nice guy like this, good place
AD
for him.
of something, right?
Well, first he got his teaching degree from Cornerstone University, which was in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It's a 3,000 student Christian college.
Weird.
I looked it up. It's
shocking.
It's an odd place. It's an odd place. They have like another branch in Sri Lanka that's like some sort of missionary. I don't know what the fuck is going on with this place. But
changing lives.
It's insane. So yeah, that happens. Then he works at a place called North Point Christian High School in 2006. He works there for 3 years. This is the one, he was the athletic trainer, or athletic director, the AD, and the weight trainer there.
That's it.
He was fired without explanation.
That's right.
On that
I remember that.
I'd
really like that explanation, though. I'd really love to call the man that fired him and be like, "Can you give me at least?"
Well, Chad's version of it, they wouldn't.
No, they don't want to.
No, but Chad's version of it was that they had policies on like hair and dress, and that were very strict, and they weren't enforcing.
They were anti-flat top.
Chad wanted all the kids to have flat tops. Is what it was. No, I'm not even kidding.
We have one. That's enough.
And like low cut, and I guess they weren't enforcing the rules, and he was taking it upon himself to yell at people, and because his whole assessment of it was,
I saw thongs.
He said, "If you're, I hate thongs. I hate them. Chad Curtis hates thongs. Where's that Cisco? I'll kill him."
That goddamn Cisco.
So I guess he was the moral police there, and they were tired of it. Apparently, he said, "If you're going to have rules, why don't you enforce them?" Was his quote on it in an interview later on. He also had a short stint at another school where the guy who hired him was arrested and convicted of embezzlement, and therefore his position was eliminated. So it was one of those like, hey, I don't know, that there's some shady. I'm not going to say what
Anybody
happened,
involved in this guy is out as well.
some shady dealings. He was coaching youth baseball at the time, which
right.
would be great for a kid.
Yeah.
He shows up in his World Series ring saying, yeah, that's how Derek
Both of
Jeter.
them.
Let me show you how Derek Jeter gets down to catch a ground ball.
I got one on each hand.
One on each hand. Let me show you how he catches a ground ball, but not women, because you don't need that. Just Jesus.
Not women, just Jesus and girls.
Just Jesus. So yeah, so then he ends up, after that, he ends up at the Lakewood Public Schools.
Here we go.
This is when it gets interesting. Now, before we get into the whole diddling mess here, we are going to go to a new segment on Crime and Sports, which is our news segment.
This is a new segment, and it is the news.
On our news.
love
This is Crime Sports News. We're going to do this every week. Just a quick segment. So let's throw it to our news correspondent. From a female point of view, because there's just a lot of testosterone here. So let's give the female point of view a chance. Let's throw it over to Sarah. Here's the news.
Thanks, guys. Well, here is today's news. There's an article, and it says, NFL can't keep out felons if colleges protect them. So basically, it's saying that the NFL will ban prospective draftees with domestic violence, sexual assault, or weapons convictions from attending the annual scouting combine. This sounds awesome, right? Wrong. Colleges and teams will go to great lengths to protect these players or cover up for them. So far, 6 women have filed a federal Title IX lawsuit against the University of Tennessee, accusing them of fostering a culture that enables sexual assault. So 6 women are filing a lawsuit basically saying that somebody has tried to rape them. And the big issue is that people are coming out after the rape assaults and not before. So the moral of the story is, have some self-respect, ladies. Don't date someone who volunteers to be tackled by other men for a living because they have some weird daddy issues. Just because they're in top physical condition doesn't mean they're in top mental condition. Watch for those red flags. Be an American. See something. Say something. And for God's sakes, please blow your rape whistle, not your rapist.
Okay, thank you very much, Sahara. Appreciate that. That is... That's a female take. Let's just say that. It might not be all female, but that's a female take. that cannot be denied.
There's a take, at least a take.
That's a take. All right, so now that we're back from the news, let's get into the meat of the Chad Curtis
Get into
story.
Chad Curtis's meat.
Okay, well, so he's teaching. He's at the Lakewood Public Schools. He's coaching. He's the head coach of the football team. He's like the head weight trainer, kind of.
Sure.
He's the guy you go to. I want to get in shape, and he's going to put together a regimen for you. He's a major league baseball player.
A crew cut. That's the guy you go
cut.
to at the gym. Find the guy with the crew cut. He'll tell you what
Stays in
creatine to drink.
shape. Exactly. He's not exactly the best left fielder in
Right.
the world, but he's in shape. Let's
You
just
trust
give
a
him
man
that.
in a crew cut.
Anyway, at the end of this, he ends up being convicted of 6 counts of criminal sexual conduct with girls between the ages of 13 and 16 and receives 7 to 15 years in prison.
That's unbelievably not funny and hysterical at the same time.
That's how you round out employment.
That's how you wrap up a 9-year illustrious baseball career.
Last employment, and how did that end? Oh my. All right, sir. Well then. Basically, what he was doing here is he never did this with boys.
Right.
This is the thing too. 0 boys. He had several levels of like a training area. Like he'd take in the normal gym, then there was another weight room separate, and then he had the dungeon. Basically,
They call that grooming.
that's called grooming. He used weights to groom. He's a shitty, just terrible at this. First of all. Not like something cool that they would like here's an iPhone or something. He's grooming people with fucking
He's
squat
getting them
thrusts.
toned
Not
and
good.
then fucking them.
That's how a gym teacher molests you. This guy is a true gym teacher. This man was born to teach gym.
Standing there with his nuts hanging out of his bike shorts.
If nothing else, I don't know. I think this was his calling. Honestly, he is the guy that you
He's
think
good
about
at this.
when you think about a gym teacher. So he started basically trying to help people rehab injuries. Was the crux of the whole.
Sure.
That was kind of his
excuse.
ruse,
Yeah.
his excuse, however you want to put it. There was 3 girls. It was actually
that is his Ted Bundy's cast.
That's his Ted Bundy, yeah. And in court, several of his older students at the one he had a brief stint at, the school he had a brief stint at, several of those students testified that it was kind of a running joke that he took special interest in the girls, and I guess he would like pull girls out of class to work special with them.
Surprise.
Yes, it was like a running joke that this guy, Chad, he likes to diddle a young girl. What kind of joke is that, first of all? This is like a 45-year-old man, 42-year-old man at the time, and he's like, he's going to diddle fucking Sally over there. That's not. She's had a good life so far.
Yeah.
She'll bounce back. Like
Tara will be back in a minute. She's going to go bang Coach
good.
Chad.
So there was several girls. There was actually 3 that he was brought up on the charges for, and a 4th that they didn't charge, but she testified that things were weird. Sure. And there was also a babysitter, a girl that
when there's 3 that it happened with, there are definitely 2 that were on their way.
There's more, yeah. So, and it was the pattern of it, and anyway. So he starts, there was one, we're going to call her Kayla. This article I read, it's sportsonearth.com is the website, and Greg Hanlon is the author of this article, and this man...
What a great man.
What a great man, because, I think I'm knee-deep in XMLB Diddler. Sure. This guy is like, he can't even see right now.
He spent some time.
Up to his eyes. He's like straining his eyes to see over the pile of diddle.
He is up Chad's proverbial ass, for sure.
He is, definitely. Yeah. As is, I hope, others in his prison experience, because he fucking deserves it. This guy's a dick.
Absolutely.
Anyway, but he did... It's not even this is the thing that you're going to get to. It's not even, it wasn't like a violent thing. It was a very, like, gradual... Right. He's scum.
He's very loving with his kid ruining.
Well, and he used Jesus to get in with these girls. These girls were all religious girls. God. This was kind of a Christian-y area, a lot of religious people. And he used Jesus to talk to these girls. He would take them in. First he would do he would show them what to do and show them exercises and weightlifting. They said he would kind of touch around their hips and stuff like that, where they were like, Yeesh. But they were like, he knows what he's doing. Yeah. He's an MLB baseball player. He has more serious rings. He's showing this is what needs to be done, and they trusted him. And all the time too, he's talking about the Lord as he teaches. He's talking about Jesus and what a good Christian. So anything he does, they're like, it must be for my own good because he's Mr.
My cervix should feel the diamonds on his Yankees ring.
Exactly.
Because that's what Jesus wants.
Sitting there like, Steinbrenner, did you have to put the rubies on that, you son of a bitch?
They're not even princess cut. What's up the baguettes, sir?
It's terrible. It's terrible. That's awful. But it's true.
Your baguettes broke my hymen.
So we get Kayla is the first one that we're going to talk about here. And Kayla is a friend of his daughter, who is about the same age as him also. God. She's over his house. She knows him. Horrible. So she completely trusts him. I mean, you can't trust anybody more than that, she trusts him. A respected teacher, community leader, famous friend's dad, Christian, talking about the Lord. Yeah. That's what you're into. That would be a red flag for me.
Yeah. You're not going over there anymore. That's it.
If some guy takes me in a windowless room and starts talking to me about the Lord, I'm getting something up my ass, and I'm getting the fuck out of that room.
I'm going to break an ankle kicking the door down. I'm gone.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's not good. So he brings her in, and he was touching her a little bit with the way, and then he started with an athletic massage. And he started doing a massage thing. She had some injuries.
Listen, I jerk off to a lot of those pornos. I know what happens.
Yeah, he had her on her back, and he had her on her stomach. He was rubbing her back, and he was doing stuff, and he had her can you get your shirt off so you can get around your shoulders? Sure. Shirt comes off. She's in a sports bra, and he slips off. She had some shorts on with spandex underneath, slips those off, and then he flips her over, starts getting the abdomen area.
Yep.
Lifts up her shirt.
All right.
Says, "Is this okay?" And she's doesn't say anything. She's frozen at this point.
Of course, with fear.
So he mounts her, gets on top of her, straddles her, and starts rubbing the breast area. Well,
the flat chest. Where breasts will be eventually.
We don't know. These girls are 15, 16.
Yeah.
They could look like anything. So we have no idea. And it doesn't matter if they're whatever it is. They're 16. That's why I'm going to say breasts, and I'm going to keep this very clinical.
Anybody that was just jerking off to that, put it away. Stop it.
Back in your pants.
Stop it.
Honestly, I'm going to use technical terms because I really don't want to do this because these are 15-year-old girls.
Throw the word hymen out there and people it shrinks.
I have a daughter, and I'm very...
Yeah. I got a little girl too. That's terrifying.
My daughter goes to gym class, and I'm frightened. So.
And my girl's never met Chad Curtis.
Thank fuck for that. Lucky kid. So he would, he told her she was too tense and all this stuff, and he's rubbing her breasts, and she's staring at the ceiling in complete,
praying that it stops,
whatever,
because she believes.
So anyway, this goes on. He gets off of her. Afterwards, he's telling her, and this is a pattern that emerges keeps emerging. He keeps saying that he'll go up to a person after he does this to them, and he'll go, "Hey, we did something we shouldn't do, and we can't do that again."
Oh, boy.
He uses the term "we" a lot, as if it was
to incriminate them as well.
as if it was a mutual decision, and that way, I don't know, some psychological trick that he learned from the pastors or what, but either way, this is, and he would talk about the Lord too.
Yeah,
He'd
we
talk
can
about
get in
the
a
Lord.
lot of trouble for this.
Yeah, he asked her to pray. He asked her to pray with him afterwards, and she didn't want to. She took off, and she was like, "This is messed up."
Jesus.
But he said, that was a mistake. Never happened again. She was so embarrassed and everything. She continued to go over his house to play with, to hang out with the daughters, and acted like nothing happened. And after a couple weeks, everything was fine.
Sure.
And she started to trust him, and then same thing happens.
Uh-oh.
We're back in the dungeon. It's massage time.
Uh-oh.
It's massage time, and this time goes a little further. He takes her shirt off again, and she's like, "Oh boy, it's happening again."
Yeah.
This time he starts kissing the breasts and doing
Time for
mouth
Hail Marys.
things
Yeah.
to it. As he's doing this, he takes his hand and puts it down her spandex.
Oh, boy.
And
And breaks the hymen.
and I don't know.
With the
I don't
Yankees
have.
ring.
I have no proof of that. But the rubies were.
But
a
it was in
factor.
that area, yeah.
It's not good.
Jeez Louise.
So this is what he does. I guess this went on very short time, like 10 seconds or whatever, and then he stopped, and they got their shit together, and I don't know what you do after you molest somebody.
Start praying and saying sorry.
I don't know how that works, but
When you're Christian, I imagine that's how it goes.
he asked her if she liked that, and she said no.
Yeah.
And he said, "Look, I didn't do anything, and we need to not do this again. Would you pray with me? Please don't go to the police."
Oh, good God.
He even tried to say, "You can go to the police if you want. I understand if you have to, but I wouldn't want my kids to never see me again because I'd be in jail. I wouldn't
Guilt
want
trip
this.
time.
My wife would be
Yeah.
blah blah blah," because she knows these people.
Yeah.
And then again, "Do you want to pray with me?" And she declined. She's like, "I'm good on prayer
Listen,
at this point. I think
we've spent enough time today.
prayer got me the Yankee ring
Yeah.
in a place I don't want it, so I'm going to fucking cut the prayer cloth right now." So, so she takes off. She is kind of horrified. She ends up going there. She let time pass, too, because this one was horrified. She didn't want anything to do with it. He would make small talk while he did it, too, and talk about Jesus while he was touching her. He's talking about Jesus, I guess, when he didn't have his mouth on her breast.
Yeah. That sounds like every Christian marriage, though.
Just, oh, God, horrible, right?
That's how I imagine every Christian person, like super Christian or super Catholic. That's their sex.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's
So
insane.
gross.
And the thing is, at one point, he confronted her.
Yeah.
Whereas, look, we
Got a
did was
real
wrong.
problem with yourself.
We need to, get right with Jesus and all that. And started quoting the Bible, and she's like, "Whoa, what the," you know what I mean? So anyway, asked her asking her to pray with him. That kills me too.
Unbelievable.
So this asshole. Then there's more here as we get to a girl named Jessica. Not a real name, obviously.
Thank God.
Jessica here. Now Jessica, this is an interesting one also too, because this one there's a little more to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Jessica.
He got his bearings about him. Now he knows how to do it.
Yeah, Jessica would get pulled out of gym class for 20 minutes at a time to work special with her.
Boy.
And this pissed her boyfriend off.
Good.
And this pissed off. Good, I like this guy. Yeah,
I want to hang out with him. Yeah.
Red flag.
Yeah.
So there's a ruby
he's a
missing.
smart kid.
There's a ruby missing out of that ring. Something with somewhere.
Where's
I don't know where.
Snowflake? Yeah.
Where's Kayla? So anyway, so Jessica, she's in there. He would massage her, same things, the massages, and it would be the same thing. He would creep up slowly. Then, let's take the shirt off.
Sure.
And be real clinical. Hey, do you mind if I lift your bra up? Next thing you know, he's feeling it up too. These two exchanged 115 texts between February and April of 2012.
That's a lot of communication.
It's a lot of and most of it that they recovered. Now there's 85 deleted texts that they don't have.
Eee.
Most of what was recovered was about workout times, was about this, was about
Yeah.
that. But there was a couple where she said hey, I would go for you if it was a different thing, and it
Right.
got a little weird and personal.
85 pictures of his dick next to a Yankees ring.
Exactly.
Yeesh.
Lots. Yeah, Brett Favre's got nothing on this fucking guy. This guy is just, the Yankee ring would give him away, too.
Absolutely.
Not a lot of those.
Yeah,
floating
better
out.
delete that.
Better delete that And then finally he said, we should stop texting so my wife doesn't get upset.
Sure, of course.
'Cause, God forbid you don't want to get caught. So they got 85
Snapchat isn't
deleted
around
texts. Yeah. So then finally she has a rib injury. He goes in, same thing. He starts diddling. He wraps. He diddles her a bit, but
That's a convenient place to have an injury.
it is. So
Right near your titty.
he wrapped her. He put a wrap on her because she played volleyball.
Yeah.
He put a wrap on her and sent her back out. And she sent him a text afterwards, even saying the wrap was good. This was after he lifted her bra up and gave her a little feely. But he didn't do any kissing or anything like that. He did it in a way where she went, "Did I just get felt up or not?" Literally, she said, "I don't know if I just got molested, but I feel
like my nipples were just flipped.
I feel a touch molesty right now. I don't know if that's good." And
Was that a pinch on my nipple? That's weird.
yeah, and he would like rub her. He would move her underwear aside to get her ass.
Oh God.
Yeah, for a massage.
Oh, dear Lord.
And he would literally say, "Well, the glutes are where the lactic acid builds up.
sure. That's where it's
you
at.
know, that's where the Lord wants
Right
me to
in your
rub
ass.
you." Literally, that's where the Lord wants nuts, right?
Unbelievable.
Insane. And then we get to, and I think this is the most probably egregious.
This is the telling one.
This one I feel the worst for this girl because this girl, she's very religious.
Yeah.
She was really deep in the Christian
Super
circle.
devout.
Very trusting of him.
Sure.
She played as another volleyball player. And this girl, when it came out, when she decided to speak up about it, she was completely ostracized because she's in the Christian circle. And guess what? All the fucking Christians supported this guy with the charges. They were all like, "Not Chad. Chad can quote the Bible to you. He's not a bad guy. He can tell you what Leviticus." I don't know anything about religion, so I can't help.
care.
I've heard of that
But
verse.
this- yeah.
That's a verse
Yeah, yeah.
of something.
I
don't know what.
The Fallopians or something like
It's
that.
something. Fallopian 12:22 says the ruby will not
Yeesh.
fall off the ring.
Get
my
inside her
goodness.
hymen.
Oh, God. Unbelievable.
So horrific. If you're uncomfortable at this moment, sit tight because it's going to get worse.
It's horrible.
And I'm
So-
just as uncomfortable as you are. This man is a complete scumbag. What a piece of shit.
And I will say he didn't have sex with any of
No,
these girls.
not yet.
He didn't like pin them down.
Right.
No, he didn't have sex with
No,
any
no,
of them
that's what I
ever.
mean.
Yeah, he did not.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. In the future, when he's released,
Yeah.
anything's possible.
Anything's
the world
released.
is his oyster. Once
Right.
He's out of the jail. So, anyway, so yeah, but what he did, I think, was worse because he was in such a position of trust with these girls. Not only did they trust him as a teacher and as a just a community figure, but he would massage these women and he would say, by the way, he's not a massage therapist.
No.
He's nothing like that. But
He's
he
not
would
licensed.
say, I have experience with real high-end, literally like, I was on the Yankees.
Guess
I know
who
how
played
to do a massage.
sports?
I have World Series rings.
Right.
I know how to give a massage.
This has happened before. I felt this before.
So, yeah, unbelievable.
I've been tight there.
So this one girl, they called her Alexis here, the black-balled girl. She wasn't black and bald. She was blackballed, ostracized. Sorry, that really didn't sound good.
That really, yeah.
This bald black chick that he was talking to, she went to him after hurting her knee sledding. Like, that's how she's a kid.
Yeah.
That just tells you she's a kid.
That tells you how childlike she really is. That
Yeah.
she still sleds.
Yeah.
When was the last time you sledded, James?
I don't know. I would like to sled.
I've
though.
I've
go
taken my
sledding?
children sledding. I put them in the sled and I pushed it. And then
didn't
I
go in it?
stood at the top. No, I'm not a child.
Pussy.
I'm the
That's
size
so-
of one, but I'm
I
not
get in
one.
the goddamn. I get in there. I sled right now.
I think the last time I sledded, my wife was pregnant, and she couldn't sled with me because she was pregnant. And we
Gotta
went to
take
go see
chances
snow.
sometimes,
Yeah. You only live once. So I sledded. I think I was 25.
Well, lucky for you, you did not get treatment from Chad Curtis because
Yeah.
this girl with her sledding injury, she only went to him. Her quote was, "I was just sick of hearing him ask."
Oh, boy.
He kept saying, "Let me work with you
Yeah.
individually. Let me work with you individually." And so she literally was like, "Fine."
Your
I
ass
hurt
looks
my-
tight.
He actually said that.
Oh, boy.
He said to the one girl, the last one we were talking about, the Jessica girl,
Yeah.
that she had a nice athletic butt at
Oh,
one point.
boy.
And and the front of the boyfriend, I guess, and the boyfriend was like, that was the other thing too. He was telling her that she should dump that boyfriend because he's immature. Wow,
The
unbelievable. level
BTK
of
killer
stuff.
told that to a woman as well.
Yeah, he's like Dr. Phil, but diddling at
Oh,
the same
boy.
time. So this girl, and this one, like I said, super religious. He would rub her while he was lecturing her about how atheists can be taught about God and how she could go about that. There was a point where there was another girl, Rachel, who was also. This is the one that testified, but they didn't use her charges.
She's the savior.
So this Rachel girl, she testifies. I guess that Rachel goes down into the athletic room with Alexis, and then he ends up saying, hey, why don't you go get me a medicine ball, or go put a medicine ball away, or some shit with a medicine ball. And to take a hike for a minute.
Yeah.
And so, so I can get
Listen,
my
there's some
diddle
medicine balls somewhere. They're really heavy. Go move those around.
Yeah, so that was not
Take
good.
you a while.
And this girl said while it was going on, he was feeling her up doing the same exact thing. At one point, somebody came in with keys, and because it's a locked room, and then she heard keys jiggling, and he froze, and she said she saw the look of panic on his face, and she went, oh, wow, I'm being molested. Literally, she didn't know if this was okay or not, or she was really is this what you're supposed, maybe this is what they do. Maybe this is what in the majors, if you have a problem and you want to hit 300, you got to get your tit massaged, your breasts, sorry, they're 15. So anyway, so at that point, she said, oh my God, I'm getting molested. This is not good. So there's molesting going on, apparently. So the Rachel girl testifies. There's also a girl named Brittany who was their babysitter. She took Chad Curtis, and I have to say this because went with Chad Curtis's family on vacation to babysit the kids, and at one point she had sunburn, and he rubbed lotion on her.
Absolutely.
In what she felt was an inappropriate fashion.
Sure.
Touching, getting a little too close to the ass area.
Got to make sure that Noxzema gets into the unburnt spots too.
And then guess what he told her after the lotion incident?
I'm gonna guess it had to do with Jesus.
Jesus, but guess what he said? We
Oh
did
no,
something wrong.
we were very, very inappropriate.
We
here
did
today.
something we shouldn't have done.
Brittany.
We can't do that again.
Yeah, Brittany.
We can't have a hard-on while rubbing lotion on
Listen,
teenage
Brittany,
girls.
you
is
really
basically what
messed
he
up
said.
today.
Yeah, so just a horrible, horrible interview. And this is what comes out, too. When he's finally interviewed by police after these girls come forward, it's only one interview by the police, too. Finally interviewed by police when, and it's, I guess they record all this, when the detective mentioned the word lotion, he became visibly ill and laid down on the floor for a while and said he just didn't feel good.
Yeah.
And the detective said, gee, what's wrong? And he said, I'm just so hurt by this. I work so hard and try so hard and care so much about the kids that this is crushing me.
Of course he is.
It's the Lord and him together for the kids.
The Noxzema. It was the Noxzema that did it.
Jesus Christ, what a horrible, horrible person he was. So he does this. So he's in court now. And the crazy thing about the court proceedings is all the girls testify to what happened.
Yeah.
There's Rachel. Also, there's Brittany corroborating everything. There was a principal who, this poor guy, he was told one time that where is Coach Curtis, and they said he's down in the weight room in the dungeon with a girl, and he was supposed to be putting ice down there on her. He went down. The girl was sitting on the table with ice on her. He was at his desk. So he was like, everything's normal.
Everything's
so
fine.
He didn't think anything was wrong. So, I mean, it looked, he knew what he was doing to get away with this stuff for a little while anyway, but he wasn't real good at it, as we can see.
It's going to catch up with him.
In court.
Right.
Everybody testifies against him. He's convicted. The jury does not take long to convict him on the 6 counts.
As they should.
By the way, he could have taken a plea deal. There was on the table for him that would have got him a year and a half, and the deal was the year and a half would have been in county jail as opposed to a state facility, which would have been, I assume, much easier for him. Less World Series rings of other people's up in his orifices of any kind. So, yeah, he doesn't want to do that and his excuse was, I can't get up there, put my hand on a Bible, and say I did something I didn't do. Because he's so Christian.
Oh, boy.
So he's so Christian.
He sticks with the Lord.
I hope Jesus is with him in prison.
And I hope he gets raped with a crucifix. I'm the other side.
Yeah, he thinks also that the Lord is on his side because, and this is what a dick he is.
Yeah.
This sums up this asshole in one phrase. This reporter who interviewed him in prison, by the way, he's in the middle of appeals and he's going against his counsel's vehement wishes and doing a fucking interview because he's got such an ego that he needs to know. I got to tell everyone that I'm
Tell
right.
everybody the right way.
Even though this is horrible for my legal situation. Anyway, so yeah, he wears a bracelet in prison. This is what it reads: Jesus led the perfect life and that got him crucified.
Oh boy.
In other words, I'm Jesus.
Oh boy.
I don't even need to explain what the hell that's saying right there. He's comparing himself to Jesus and his level of persecution.
Unbelievable.
Because, this guy can't keep his fingers out of teenagers.
Jesus, I don't believe fingered anybody.
Unbelievable.
But he believes that he believes that this is his cross to carry.
This is his cross. And he's such a jerk. He gave over half his money when he played. He gave to like anti-abortion, pro-family groups. Which pro-family means anti-abortion. That's all
they should throw the book at him for that.
Just for that.
Opening a beer. 1 and a 2, 1 and 3.
And he's such a dick, too. He was mad at Andy Pettitte, the former Yankee pitcher and borderline Hall of Famer, and also a roid guy, too. But he was mad at Andy Pettitte, who was one of his Bible study chapel fucking pals, because they were real good friends, and when Andy Pettitte was considering retirement, he would call Chad Curtis, and they would mull it over. But, gee, once you get charged with molesting 3 kids,
surprise.
Pettitte didn't want to talk to him anymore. Shocking.
Andy Pettitte absolves himself from you. It is time to change your ways, sir.
Yeah, so he does this. So at this point in the proceedings, he can make his statement. Would you like to have anything to say during sentencing? He makes an amazing testimony here.
He
starts saying that, talking directly to the girls, saying that
we really need to pray.
Literally saying that what you did was wrong, and
boy.
And talking about Jesus, and people were shouting things out at him, calling him a jerk, and
they're
getting
heroes.
escorted out of the courtroom because he couldn't even get through it because he's such an asshole. Then he says to the Kayla girl, because at this point too, she's not friends with the daughter anymore, or whatever. But he thought they were tight, so he's saying, "Look, Kayla, this isn't what happened, and." We should hope maybe someday the two of us can write a book together about this. Wow.
That's awesome.
Write a book together
so
about
great.
this. Like, hey, look, we've been through this. Basically, he said, look, we're in the middle of a crazy thing together. Like they started at a restaurant and it caught on, and let's write a book about when we started the restaurant. Like. It's an independent record label, and we started it underground.
Yeah, everybody can't wait to hear our story. No, the only person that can't wait to hear your story is this judge and this jury saying throw the fucking book at you psychotic fuck.
He said that the good news, he said, when you guys are ready to admit that you're liars, I'll be the first to forgive you. So he offered his forgiveness to them, which is a real...
Because they all banded together to throw you in jail. All right.
Wonderful human being for that. Well, he'll forgive them, though. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Give me a break here.
He's got compassion.
Yeah. And he also complained later on in an interview that I'll tell you this first. The prosecutor called it, quote, the most selfish, self-serving, victim-bashing statement I've ever heard in my career as a prosecutor.
Oh, I want to hang out with that prosecutor.
How great is that guy? And then the defense, too, the witnesses they called a witness that was there, a psychological witness, to say that the whole thing was post-event information effect, which is basically saying in the news there's a whole lot of diddling, so it's just being transferred onto him.
That's just what it is.
Which I'm sure that does happen,
yeah,
but not with 3 girls that he says the exact same thing to,
right,
and throws up at the sound of the word lotion. So, no, fuck out of here. And this interviewer asked him, just asking him stuff, and he's so angry with them. He said, have you ever seen Pretty Little Liars? That's his thing, and he said that he was never molesting them. If anything, but he was putting his hands on them, and anything inappropriate happened, it was because he treats sports injuries as aggressively as he played baseball. That's a quote. He said,
that's a quality quote.
Just like running into a wall or breaking up a double play. So whether
I will slide into second base, massage your ass, and finger you at the same time.
Exactly. So whether you're taking out a small Dominican fella that plays shortstop for a living, or you're losing...
Or fingering a 15-year-old.
Losing precious gems inside of a teenager. Whatever the case is, this guy...
I will fucking murder your hymen. Do you hear me?
Oh, he's terrible. He's a horrible, horrible person. And that's the tone of the whole interview is just, hey, man, And he said he puts together sports programs in jail, and he's like, no, nobody messes with me. Everybody knows I'm a good guy. And it's like, how has nobody stabbed you? Good God.
None of them have a hymen to break.
Jesus.
Maybe they're looking to play they're going to field the team for the longest yard in baseball now.
I don't know if this is a crime, but if you're in jail, stab Chad Curtis.
Find him.
If you want to stab, no, you know what? Don't just stab him because I said, if you're really just dying desperate to stab a guy, that's your guy. That's all I'm saying.
That's it. If you got to move up the ranks in your criminal gang in prison, find him.
Yeah.
File down your toothbrushes. And I encourage you to incite a riot if that is the one and only casualty. And open a very vital vein, please.
His delusions of grandeur, self-importance, and his fucking ego never stops, too, because he also said, the first accusation came on my 3-year-old's birthday. The second accusation came on my 11-year-old's birthday, and I was arrested the day of my 19-year-old's graduation. He said, you think that's a coincidence?
I do.
I think the girls got together and they were like, okay, Chad Curtis's kid's third birthday is
when are the most important
Friday.
events in his children's lives?
Hold on, where's the calendar? Guys, let's really get organized. Seriously. Hold on. Wait a second.
That's I do.
Jesus.
I think that if there is a God, he is speaking to you, telling you that these events are happening on your children's birthdays because you fucking ruined children's lives.
Yes. So and
so it should ruin your children's birthdays.
Yeah, and in turn, he is also not doing too well. He claims everything's great and everybody loves him and everything like that in jail, and his wife still believes in his innocence and sticks by him. And the whole deal, and I'm sure half of these Christians do too. He's just a good Christian man, touting the Lord, and they're well, you read his bracelet right there. That says it right there. That's the insanity. Recently, he was in 2015. He was in court, and he needs a court-appointed lawyer for his appeals.
Why?
Why?
I can't wait. It's the best statement of all time.
He needed to testify as to why that was. They asked him, well, what is your net worth?
You played 9 seasons in Major League Baseball. Yeah. Why do you need a court-appointed lawyer?
First of all, I gave half my money to fucking douchebags who stick their heads in other people's goddamn business. Number one, that's first of all. Second of all, right now, I'm completely broke, and they said, well, can you declare your net worth? His net worth, according to him, he said he had $39 in his account. Plus, in his cell, he had about 8 packages of noodles. About 8 packages of noodles.
That is my favorite thing of all time.
Let me just say.
If you had $1 a noodle, wouldn't that be great?
He'd have $47 at that point, so he'd still need the fucking left.
8 packages of noodles. You can sell the...
Let me just... You know that things have hit a low for you when you're asked to declare your net worth and you include noodles.
What's the inventory, sir? 8 packages of noodles, sir.
And I have 3 pairs of underwear with holes in the taint also. Should I declare that? But he declared the noodles in court because he's an honest Christian.
Do you sell each championship ring for 4 boxes of noodles?
Yeah. So, oh, God.
I love
the
it
noodles.
so much.
So,
he included noodles. With noodles.
So, yeah. Chad Curtis has his noodles here. Chad and his noodles, basically, is where we are.
8 boxes of noodles.
Him and his
so
noodles.
Fantastic.
He did not clarify if they were boxes. I'm assuming they're ramen.
Yeah.
I know they have the cup of noodles in prison.
They do. But
he said packages.
When I hear packages, I'm going with ramen, and that's fucking amazing. I can't get over that. I love that so much.
I wonder if his agent gets like 3/4 of a package of noodles.
Do you get 10% of a package?
So you get, hey, those noodles are part mine. God.
Don't forget 10% of the flavor, too.
So, if you're feeling bad for Chad Curtis has to do at least 7 years in jail.
Thank God.
So at least 7. But this...
And when was he convicted? What year?
This asshole, 2013.
All right.
This asshole now, because I guess they did, in Michigan, they did different sentencing guidelines. Uh-huh. They passed a law last year that has new statewide sentencing deal.
Hope he has to drink the water in Flint.
So he actually now he has a certain amount of time to decide whether he's going to put it in or not, but he can actually put in for a new sentencing hearing based under these guidelines and try to get less time from his 7 years.
All right.
So Chad Curtis has been in jail he's been 2.5 years in jail now. So who knows, based on this, Chad Curtis could be out on the street, I don't know, anytime, a couple of years. We don't know if he decides to go through with this, or maybe he's going to sit in jail. Maybe he's happy, I don't know, doing the sports program in jail or whatever. But yeah, Chad Curtis sitting in jail at this point, which is good.
We have to pray. We have to hope, pray, whatever you believe in.
You know what?
Hope that he fucking starts a riot and gets another 10 years.
Yeah.
Because this is so horrible. That's a miscarriage of justice. Granted, he didn't rape them with the penis. But by large and far, whatever that phrase is, he really is a piece of shit. That man's a horrible person, and he's a serial rapist, a serial molester at minimum.
Yeah. And this is,
that's
the beginning. Yeah. If he didn't get caught,
right? Oh, it's going to get way further.
He would have been
absolutely.
Yeah, there would have been full on.
Absolutely.
If he didn't get caught, one of these girls would have either had something terrible happen to them in the past, and be like, or God forbid, if one of these girls thought they were into it, maybe too, because they don't know and they're confused, and then this asshole takes advantage of it, and who knows? You could have little. And
now Bill Cosby's out in the news, and he has a whole new idea.
And at that point, too, Chad, he'd be the first one going, let's get $400 together. I'm going to take you over to the old, Planned Parenthood, and we're going to take care of this.
Yeah. $400 or do they take noodles?
That's the question you need to ask yourself, folks. Does Planned Parenthood accept noodles?
How do you do, folks? I got an abortion here. Do you guys take noodles?
You guys I got 8 packages of noodles if you guys are interested. If we could
7. Possibly. I had to bribe her with 1 to get the pussy.
Shit. Yeah, no, she ate all the noodles. There's none left over. You can't have it.
We had a smorgasbord of noodles.
With that, so to wrap up, Chad Curtis is in jail where he belongs.
Right.
And, watch out for Chad Curtis in a couple of years because he's going to be out at some point.
He'll be hitting the noodle sale near you.
Yeah, I mean, I can't thank you guys enough for listening.
Thank you.
We hope people are listening. Please, like we said, go to iTunes. Podomatic, we're also on. Check us out on Podomatic and do all the follow and all that stuff. Please subscribe, rate. Everything. At Crime and Sports on Twitter.
Rate, review.
At gmail.com.
There you go.
You can follow Jimmy Whisman is at Whisman Sucks.
On Instagram and Twitter.
Whisman is WHISMAN. God damn it.
And that's why I'm nobody.
Yeah, and my handle's
He's smarter. At Jimmy P is funny. He is.
It's easy. And I hope I am funny, but I doubt it. We'll see.
But he does that because if you think my last name's fucked up, I dare you to spell his.
Good luck with that.
Thank you guys.
But thank you guys so much. Tune in next week. We don't know who we're doing yet, but I guarantee you they'll be scummy as shit.
and we're going to tear them apart. I can't wait.
And this was a white guy, so don't bitch at us.
No racism. I love it.
Yeah, we're here for scum and scum alone.
Fuck them all.
All right. Thank you guys very much. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
If you like Crime and Sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey. Everyone out there should listen to Small Town Murder. Yeah. You really should, mainly because you never know who's next door. And that's the point of this show, really. You never know who is next door. You never know what's going to happen on Small Town Murder. That's what makes it so wonderful. The only thing you do know is that people are going to die.
Yeah.
And we're probably going to make jokes about it. That's it. That's all we can promise you. We dig into these towns. We see what makes them tick, from local legends to scandals they may have had. And, of course, the biggest scandals of all, horrible murders that take place there. And we put our, what I feel is a completely appropriate comedic spin on the whole thing. And you know you need a laugh right now. So get in there, listen to Small Town Murder, follow Small Town Murder on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Small Town Murder early and ad-free right now on Wondery Plus.